I decided on a quick side project here. One thing that I've noticed is my work holding capability is not really where I want it to be. I primarily use this vise on my Sherline mill. It's a Sherline vise. It actually works really well. Screwless vise. It is aluminum body, however it does hold pretty steady. But clamping the vise to the table is the major issue that I end up dealing with. And something that I added was recently some holes to the side to put stops, and I'd also like to make some jaws. These jaws here are removable. There's 2 screws. Some jaws, maybe step jaws, some things like that. This is what you can buy from Sherline for as a hold down, and it works. I just want something a little more substantial. So I sort of came up with this, which is just sort of a piece that would span the entire length of the table, 2.5 inches, and have 2 locations to bolt into the 2 T-slots, and they would be rails that would catch on this side rail. And I came across a whole bunch of this A2 stock. It's oversized 3/8 by half, so I'm going to use this to make the side rails. Basically just square it up and put some holes in it, and then put a step in it like I show here, and that'll become my new clamping system. I think it'll work. It might be a little flimsy, but I'm gonna at least try it out. But overall I think it's a pretty good plan. And then another thing I'm gonna do, because I have a lot of this material, is make some clamps like this, some hold down clamps. I have a few, but I'd like to have a whole set with different maybe shapes on the ends, and just some different variety to sort of expand my arsenal. So that's my side project until I get into my next sort of major project. So we can look at some of the machining and then hopefully some good results at the end. Now I'm going to cut this step in here. I already did the first one just to get the dimensions right. But I will say, for this small machine, I'm just going to kind of demonstrate the power of this small machine. So this is A2 tool steel. That's a 1/4 inch carbide end mill, 4 flute, and I'm going about 100 thousandths deep and 200 thousandths wide depth of cut. Now I did put some lubrication on there, so but you'll be able to get an idea just how powerful this small machine is. So now the cut's done. It's sort of hard to see. You can see the depth and width of that cut. That was a single cut. So now I got to take one more cut, about 150 thousandths width, and then a finish pass. So here I got a stop set up, and I have the location in the Y all set. So I'm just going to go against the stop here and drill some holes out, and these holes are going to be for 1032 socket head screws. Just sort of dummy check the location. Looks pretty good. It's gonna have a fairly thin wall on the one side. I have one last item to attend to here on this, and that is to put a slot widthwise for the T-nut when you tighten it down to the table, to have some space so it doesn't lock onto this surface. So it's basically just a clearance slot. So on both sides of the hole, I'm just going to use the same stop, 1/4 inch end mill straight through. Should do the trick. Well, now I'm done with all the machining. You can see the slots that I put in, and in case it wasn't really understood what the slot was for, you can see how that's now allowed to go inside there. It just allows for a little clearance, so that way the bottom surface of the clamp doesn't come in contact with the top surface of the T-nut. And then this surface is actually the rail that's clamping onto the vise. So unfortunately, I am able to at least check these to make sure that they clamp, but I don't have any more screws that are the right length. So I'm going to get some more screws, and I'm going to also make some more T-nuts instead of purchasing them, because from the manufacturer they are pretty expensive, and I have the capability to make them. And I don't really like that they're round. It's kind of hard to see that, but they're round at the top. I'd rather have them be just plain square, so I could machine a strip of T-nuts and then just saw them to various lengths. So I'll test it out on the machine and then call this project done.